Good morning, everybody. How are you today? I see only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 students out of 120. Only 10%. Okay. So, good morning, everybody. So, let us start our lecture today. So, as usual, let us see our schedule. So, according to our schedule, next lecture, next class time or lecture time will be your test 1. So in next lecture, we are not meeting face to face or virtually, okay? I'm not coming here in classroom. So as I mentioned earlier, so your test will be during your class time. Next, this is Tuesday, right? Next Tuesday for my sections. And your test will be in your D2L. Log into a D2L and then you will see in your quizzes section in D2L, go to your section course and in the quizzes section. So then you will see here test 1. So there will be 2 parts. Hopefully there will be 2 parts of test 1. You have to complete both parts. First one part will be the MCQ or short answer. Okay, like this MCQ type or true false type, and the other part will be your programming or coding part. That will be large part. So the MCQ part will be maybe 15 to 20 minutes, around 15 minutes, and the coding part will be around 30 minutes. Okay, so you have to complete both parts. So your test will be open, test 1 D2L. So next class time, like 30 minutes before class time starts. So if your class time start at 9, then 9:30, then it will start 9. And it will open 30 minutes after the class time. So we usually ends our class time at 10:45, right? So it will be 11:15. Okay, between this time, like 9 to 11, 9:01 to 11:14, you have to start at least both parts. So do not wait for the last minute, please. It may happen that you took like 30 minutes to finish your part 2 or coding part, and by this time, if your time goes over, then you will not be able to start the another part. Okay, you have to finish both parts within the time. Okay, total time it will take 50 minutes. Okay, and keep your eyes on the announcement, and for the test preparation, so follow my lectures, previous lecture, especially the last lecture I discussed maybe some rules, and also follow today's lecture. At the beginning of today's lecture, in a few minutes, I will go through review. Okay. So mainly, if you are watching these videos, my lecture videos, and then you are practicing the programs, so far I gave you 20 programs to practice, right? If you practice all these 20 programs, you should be good. Okay, so the MCQ part will be some short questions. Like, for instance, why do we use algorithm, right? That is a good process. That is a systematic way. Like brute force process, that is unsystematic way that you get something and you start right way. That is not a good way of programming. But programming is to learn programming in a good way is that you have to start from the beginning, ABC, like small part. Start from the easiest one and then the middle, like little bit complicated, and this is how you will gain your programming skill. When you understand easier stuff, then go harder. Yeah. Then just review the slides for the quiz questions. Okay, the basic data types. How do we declare variable? How do we assign, like using assignment operators? I will know about the operators, review the operators, and then what else? I sent you a study guide, right, in D12? Okay, the test topic. This is the study guide, okay, that you need to cover this. Okay, for the MCQ part, like there will be like this will be your like short, this until this will be your MCQ part, order of operations and learning this. And programming part, mainly there are this 11, 12 and 13. These three topic will be a programming part. Okay, and again one more thing that you can look for our old exams and practice bank, and if you are entitled for extended quiz time or test time, please email me. Okay, so far I received some emails from SDS, but I have not received any email from any student that claim extended time. Unless you send me your email for extended time, I will not give extended time to anyone. Okay, so anyone has any question about general information for the test? Okay, people who are online, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, do you have any question for general question for the test? Okay, as you know that the test, if you take wall test, then your lowest test grade will be replaced by your final. Okay, and if you miss a test, then there is no compensation. There is no makeup test, but your final exam will make the test up. Okay, and in that case, your lowest grade will not be replaced by final. Okay, now in our last few lectures, at least 2-3 lectures, we discussed some selection statements, right? Module, repetition, selection, maybe. I went through some activities. Okay. So for the coding part, mainly this module 3 selection. Okay, module 3 will be in your coding part still. Okay, in order to do well in the coding part in the test, so in the previous section I gave you like some homeworks. Like, let me go. Resources. This is in general. Okay, so okay, you have to write your code in pseudocode or one of the 3 languages, not in all languages. Okay, one of the 3 languages. Okay, for instance, if you have to understand this, be clear concept about these 6 statements, these 6. Okay, basic foundation. Okay, first of all, you need to understand the starting point of your program. That is the main method, right? And at the beginning statement of the main method, and you need to understand like C++ format, format, Java format, and C# format, and the output statement for in these 3 languages, and especially the input statement. For instance, in this let us review this one quickly. So in this code snippet means some code is not a complete program. It's a part of program. Okay. So in which line, actually in which line, say the input is taking, like a username is taking, username is being taken from keyboard. So which line? There are line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4, and line 5. Okay, let us think that there are 5 lines. So someone please help me to understand in which
Line 4.
mistake. Okay, so here I'm saying that this is my line number 1, this is my line number 2, this is my 3, and this is 4, and this is 5. Okay, can you hear me? Oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear me? Oh, okay. So in this program, so line number 4 is taking here the input for name, okay, for username, and line number 5 is taking input for age. Okay, and also in this program for this in C++ course snippet, if this is my line number 1, this is 2, this is 3, and this is 4, and this is, if this is 5, then see that here, okay, I see there is a mistake over here. So here, okay. No, okay, yeah, it's okay. So here in line number 2 is for input, okay, and line number for name, and line number, either this one is 3 and this one is 4 and this one is 5, right? So either 3 or 5 is for age. So here either it need to write line number 3 or 5, not both. Okay, and when you see a program, you need to understand that which line is being used for calculation and which line is being used for variable decoration. If you understand the problem, then this should be easier for you. Okay. Okay. Then constant decoration, mainly switch case statement. Okay, so let us do an activity today. Okay, so in our last lecture, I did some in-class activities, right? There's 3 activities. Activity 1, that was very simple, to check whether a number is an integer number or odd number. 2, check a leap year. 3, to check whether the number is both divisible by 5. And 7, okay, what 7 and maybe and 7, these 2. So let us do another quick activity today. Okay. So, okay, you start writing a program. Okay, so you write a program involving that take user credit score, okay, between 300 to 800. This is general statistical, right? And okay, the program you can start coding. So this part will take a credit score, integer number, okay, between 300 to 800. You will take input. You can copy this code from your previous program. Okay, then based on the score you input, it will give you the following, one of the following messages, not one, okay? For instance, if, so this is not program code, these are the condition. If the CC credit score is less than 300, okay, then it will print an invalid credit score. That I'm typing shortcut, okay? CC means credit score. Okay, and second one, if the CC is greater than or equal to 300, but okay, but I'm using but, there is no but in our programming language. Okay, we learn only there is and or, but I'm writing but, so you have to understand what is meant by but over here, either and or not. But less than 600, okay, a bad credit score. Okay, if credit score is greater or equal to 600 but less than 700, it is a good credit score. Okay, similarly for if credit score is greater or equal to 700 but less than 750, a very good credit score. And the last one, okay, there may have other conditions in between, okay, but if we understand this, how many conditions we have? 5 conditions here, right? Okay, so we have to solve this problem. Okay, there are 2 ways to solve this problem. Number one, using an if else statement. Okay, using if, else, if, or else statement. Remember that we know that there is no but operator. I'm intentionally using but operator. It is your understanding that you need to implement but either by and or what. The situation, if you understand the context, you should be able to do it, okay? And this is the fifth activity, and the sixth will be same thing, using a switch case. Statement. Okay. So number 5 is using if, else statement, and number 6 is same program with switch case statement. Okay. First of all, do the with if else statements. Then when you understand this one, then you can do this one. Okay. I believe if you understand and can do this problem, okay, spend some time to think about it and do it by yourself. Try to do it by yourself. Do not try to see others code. Do not do the Google search now. Okay, try yourself. Spend some time, even if it takes an hour. No problem. Take some time. Even read the book or watch my previous videos or look at the slides, and run the programs multiple times. It will be benefited for you if you do it by yourself. If you can do it by yourself, that any kind of problem in your test, you can do it. You can do that. Okay, but if you do for Google search, or try to copy this program from somewhere, you will get trouble in your test. So people who are online, are you trying?
Yep.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah, try yourself from your side in your computer. Okay, but my honest request is that try it yourself, please. Do not copy or search it in Google. Okay, try it yourself first. Then you can see our PowerPoint slides or my old program. Then if you struggle, then understand from there, and then ultimately by the end of the day today, you should learn it. Okay, anyone here has any question? So here I put in order, but in a test maybe you may be given this kind of problem. Intentionally maybe you can give different order, like for instance a different order. If I do not give line number 1 2 3, if I give you like this, okay, so without numbering, if I give, but while you write your code, you need to go with order. For instance, this it does not is disorder, right? I intentionally put these two down. In order to work here, write the program, you need to reshuffle this. Okay. I'm intentionally giving you in different in order, but these are reset, right? So that you can do it yourself. Okay, this is your homework or practice. Okay, you do it by yourself. There are similar kind of problems like grade or temperature problem in the in our slides, or I also discuss in our lecture. And I gave you homework, previous homeworks, right? Anyone has any question here? Do I need to solve this problem for you? Can you do it? That's good. Thank you. Yes. Sorry? No, I'm not going to solve it. Sorry. You have to solve it. Okay. This type of question is given in our slide. For instance, here. Okay. If you understand this one, right? This program, then you should be able to do that one. Okay, this similar program is using this one. It's similar kind, some kind of problem, right? These are the problems I gave you for homework. If you did the homework, then you are good to do that. Do it. Okay. So since we will miss our next lecture, so as usual, I want to go through okay. We have 45 more minutes. Next 45 minutes, I want to go through our looping or repetition module 4, part 1, that we discussed in our last lecture, right? So there are mainly 3 looping control statements: while loop, do while, and for loop, right? These are used to do repetition or execute some statement or some statement more than one time. Okay, so in our program, if unless stated otherwise, all of the statements are executed one by one, starting from the main method. It goes from top to bottom. But sometimes we may need to execute some statements more than one time. Then the naive way, there is a naive way that we can copy or paste the statement that needs to be executed multiple times. For instance, if this statement we want to execute 5 times, 10 times, 100 times, then copy 5 times 10 times, 100 times. But that is a naive way, that is not a good way. Instead of doing that, we use looping control statement. Okay? Like a while loop, do while and for while. In our last lecture, we discussed while loop. The while loop, it checks an initial condition. Okay, if the condition is true, then it goes within the while loop body. Okay, and first time it executes one time. If the condition is true, then it goes inside and it executes the statement. Then it comes back to the beginning of while and it checks the condition again. If it is true, then it executes again. And then if it is false, then it goes outside of the while loop. Okay, this way, first of all, the condition is checked and the statements are executed. As long as the condition is true, that this condition will be a Boolean condition that will give either true or false value, nothing else. As long as the condition is true, then it will execute the statement, this statement. Okay, so this is the block diagram, and this is the code I discussed in our last lecture. Okay. Okay, so we knew that there is something at some point we need to make this condition false. Why do we need to make this condition false? In order to terminate the loop, right? If we do not write any code that will at some point or can make this condition false, our program will fall into an infinite loop. Will be executing. So this infinite is not actually an infinite, real infinite. Okay. Yeah. Like the space actually real infinite. We do not see any end of our space. If you look at our sky. So, but at some point, if we say if our program running this way, so if there is no this statement, then what will happen? You will be executing this statement, and at some point our program like computer will be hang out because memory wall of the memory space will be consumed. Okay, at that situation we call infinite loop, but we should not reach to that condition. So we should keep a measure so that we can make this condition false at a certain point. So this statement will make that. It will increment the counter by 1, so that at some point counter will be equal to 1000, and that point it will be false. Okay, so and then it will terminate the loop. And in our last lecture I gave you a homework, so I asked you to practice this program. This is a code snippet, this is part of a code. So you need to copy this code and put in a main method, and then you need to change the print according to your language. Okay, so here I discussed two things. There are this plus is called incremental operator. It increments its operand, here x is the operand, by 1. Okay, and it has two notations. This is called prefix notation, and it is another notation. Even if I say y over x, again x over here, no problem, same thing. Okay, so it is called postfix notation. So there is a critical difference between prefix and postfix notation. In the prefix notation, it increments the old value first and it uses the incremented value. In the postfix notation, it first uses the old value or existing value, and then it increments the operand by 1. And the incremented value will be used in next iteration or next time. Okay, this is the critical difference. I like everybody to practice this program with live code. Okay. So sometime make change x to y, y to x, and try to understand the output. Okay. Sometime make x plus plus, so make it x minus minus. The plus plus x minus minus means the decremental operator. The decrements is operand by 1. The decremental operator has one, so two notations, prefix and postfix. We need to have crystal clear understanding about this. Okay, not for this test, for the next test, not for test 1, for the next test also. Okay. So then we discuss sentinel value. Sentinel value is actually a terminal value, a special value that terminates a loop or a program. Okay, in our case here, counter variable is we are checking while counter less than 5. So while counter it becomes 5 or greater than 5, then the loops, this one will be false. So there are many values that are greater than 5, right? So we will consider the value at the lowest value, the first value that will make this condition false. The first value it will make the condition false, that is 5. So 5 is the sentinel value and counter is the sentinel variable. Okay, so people who are online, please make yourself muted. Okay, we discuss until this. So anyone has any questions so far? Okay, and I gave you this one, okay, as a homework. So write a program that will allow you, for instance, that will allow you to take any integer, any number between 1 to 10, and also you will guess another number between 1 to 10. Okay, and you will check whether your guess number is equal to the number you entered. Like a game, it's a very simple game. You can play with your friend or a very little boy or girl or any child if you have at home. You can ask him or her to guess a number between 1 to 10. Maybe he or she will guess a number, for instance, 5. Okay. And then you take an input. Okay. Unintentionally take input, any number between 1 to 5. So if your input is 5, then okay, say we are like-minded, right? So your input and my input, your guess is matched with my guess. So it's good. Okay. Match, then we say no, we are like-minded, something like this. Okay. So very simple at the beginning. So this is the way to learn programming. Starting from a very simple one, and then go to something different. Okay, so this is the program. So it already has, for instance, this one. So just you need to convert this print and read statement in your language. So anyone has any question? Okay. So now let us understand do while do. Okay. Do while is more likely, it seems to be likely a while statement, but it's different, like do while. So you see that format, it says do, and then after says while, and then condition goes with while. There is no condition with do, but actually there should be a semicolon after here. Just semicolon here. And the first, in do while, it first it execute the body one time. Okay, after executing the body, then it checks the condition. If the condition is true, then it executes for the second time. Okay, and after executing second time, it will check the condition again. If the condition is true, then it will execute the body third time. and so on. But at some point, the condition, if the condition goes false, then it will not go to the loop, it will terminate the loop. So the main difference between a while and do while is that in do while it executes the statement at least one time. The reason is that even the condition is false, by checking the condition, meanwhile it has already executed the statement one time, right? So the do while will execute the statement at least one time. Okay, another thing is that in do while, after the while there is a semicolon, but in while there is no semicolon after while. This is the format structure. Okay. So look at the difference between while and do while. So while it first checks the condition. If the condition is true, then it executes the statement body. But do while it first executes the body and then it checks the condition. If the condition is false, then it goes to the next line. Okay, but if the condition is true, then it goes to the loop again. Anyone has any question? Okay. So look at for the semicolon at the end of while. Give attention to the semicolon. Okay, it is needed. Okay. So initially counter equal to 0 and say do counter plus plus, increment the counter. So what is mean by this counter plus plus? Can you please tell me? Huh? Yes, it will increment counter by 1 and then what value it will be printed here or here? The old value or new value? It will be using the old value. Okay, 0 and the new value will be implemented next iteration. Okay. Practice this code. I will give you a homework, for instance, today another homework to practice like this program. Practice this program. You see there are many slides, a number of slides just describing this. But instead of looking this slide, it will be better for you if you go to write this code in the program and execute it. Okay, it will be better for you to see. Okay, then this is another problem I like to cover now. Okay, write a program. Everybody give attention, please. This is my write a program in which you enable your user to enter a number, a positive integer number. Okay, using a do while loop, output the reverse display of the number. Write the program so that it will output the number in reverse order. That means if your input is 125, then it will give you output 521, right? Reverse order 1 to 5, it will give you 5 to 1. Yeah. So example, if my input is 125, then my output will be 521. Okay. Okay, so let us think spend a minute to understand the algorithm or logic behind this problem. Okay, so what do we need to do? Can anyone guess? Understand? Okay.
Do you
What
need
is
to treat it as an array?
okay? It can be done as an array, but that is a complicated way. Let us think about. So we have not learned array yet. But since it is, we have learned so far selection statement, if, else, if, and while and do while. So we need to implement only this. If, else, these conditions, the previous thing that we already know of, and then either while or do while, because this is the only two we know so far, right? We are trying to learn while. So okay, so if there is another example, so if my input is only 5, then what will be my output? The output will be 5, right? Only one number, then reverse is only 5, right? Okay, but if my input is even between 1 to 9, then it will say same thing. Okay, if my input is 51, then it will give me 1 5. So now we have got 3 examples. So what can we do? We need a combination of selection statements. Okay, so for instance, how can we do that? For instance, or even this, that we need to get the last digit, the rightmost digit, right? In a number, so in a number, whatever I have my number, if it is mine, 125 is my number. So this is my rightmost digit, right? This is my rightmost digit. Rightmost digit. Okay, how can I get the rightmost digit for any number? Okay, then my question is that how can I get the rightmost digit? First of all, we need to solve this problem. How to get the rightmost digit of any number.
Remainder when divided by 10?
Yes, that's good. If we, so for instance, if my A number is X, right? X modulo 10 will be my right digit. If you say RD, right digit equal to, say int, right digit equal to integer, right digit equal to, if my number is X, then if we take modulo by 10, then we will get the right digit, right? So on problem 1 is solved, right? Okay, then question 2, this is question 1. Then question 2, okay, so when we get the right digit 5, right? Then what do we need to do? We need to print this right digit, or we need to save this right digit. So this is part of my output, right? The 5 is the first thing we got in my output. Then what do we need to do? We need to sync our input, right? Initially my input, initially X was like this 125. Then after we got 5, then we need to sync our input to 12, right? We need to get rid of the last right digit. When you got the right digit, we do not read the right digit now. For the next iteration, we need to get rid of the 5, then we need to get 12. So how can I, then the question is that how to get rid of. Of the right digit. So how can I get rid of the rightmost digit? The second question is that, right? How can I get rid of rightmost digit?
Integer division by 10.
Yes, integer division by 10, right? So then if we say x divided by 10, then we will get 12. Yes. Sorry? What do you say? I don't understand. What is it?
So earlier you found the right digit.
Yes.
So you could subtract that value from the second step. So you have 125 minus the right digit, which is 120.
Okay, 120, but we don't need 120, we need 12. We need 12. That is another way, that's another algorithm. He said, so just divide minus, subtract the rightmost digit from the number. That could be a way. In that case, we would get 125 minus 5 equal to 120, right? We don't need 120, we need actually 12. So the way is to just divide the number right away by 10, integer division. Then we will get 12, right? So then we will go the next iteration, our rightmost digit will be 2, right? And then we will get 2. And for 12, when you do 12, again divide by 10, integer division will give us 1, right? And then in the last iteration, when we get 1, the modulo 1 modulo 10 will be 1. So then we got 521, and then at this point we need to give a condition so that we get exit of the loop, right? Okay, so then number our condition 3 is that how and when to exit, terminate this loop, right? When and how to exit the loop, right? So when we will exit the loop? When we get a single digit, right? When you get this number as a single digit, our number will be shrinking. Single digit means 0 to 9, right? That will be last step, so we don't need to do anymore, right? So now if we know these 3 steps and we can implement these 3 steps, then that will be our algorithm. Anyone has any question? This problem can be solved in multiple ways. Okay. But first of all, we need to understand at least one way. Once you understand to solve this problem in one way, then we can understand, we may do it in another way, okay? After that, we may decide which one is the convenient way for me. Anyone has any question? Okay. So let us go to our pseudocode. So in order to solve this problem, we need to get a number. We can say any variable, say you can say number or x or y or z, any variable, and we need to do two things here. I discussed a minute ago. We need to hold the right digit, and also we need to hold this value, our output value. So we can use array or we can use any variable to hold that. So we say the number initially is 0, and the last digit we can initially say 0, and reverse number we can say initially 0. So in your pseudocode writing, instead of this backwards arrow, you can give 0. That is fine. Okay, do not hit the backward button, but we can 0. So it says print, enter a number and read the number. So everybody is familiar with these two statements, right? You can do this, right? You know how to print a message using print statement, and how to read a number using keyboard input, right? In C++, Java, and C#. Everybody knows this, right? Okay, now we know the format up to 5. Okay, so here, we are getting the last digit. How can I get the last digit? A second ago, we understand that if we divide in a number, if we get the modulus 10, then we can get the right digit. So our last digit or right digit, whatever you say, last digit or right digit, okay, equal to your number modulo 10. Okay. Then at this point, your output or reverse number will be your initial reverse number 0 by 10 times 10 plus your last digit. Your 0, this part is needed. This part is needed because at some point we are forming a number, another number. So first time it is 5, then we need to make that. When you get 2, then its value will be 5, will be 50. Right? 5 times 10. When you put another number on the right side, then its value, position value will be changed. So in order to implement the position value, here we need to execute, we need to write this code, this string, plus right digit, and then we are syncing the number by we are getting rid of the right digit just by taking the integer division. And how long we will continue this? While our number greater than 0. Okay, we need a semicolon here. That's it. Okay, so this is the pseudocode format, and this is the program format. Okay, you see not the semicolon, and here, so everybody is able to convert this print line, right? Print statement. Okay, and the read statement. And if you understand this, you should get a result. Okay. So let us try this. Anyone has any question? Okay, so let us practice this. Actually, this is a good thing to practice this program. Everybody please practice this program until you become clear. If you understand this, you can do many things with this problem. Okay, so what this program is asking us to do, it is asking, so this program will help us to understand convert a number, right? So reverse a number, 125 to 521. So if you understand this, then what else you can do? You can make some other problems like this. For instance, okay, the next problem, problem 2, can be find the sum of the digits of an integer number, right? So if you can reverse, then also while getting reverse, similar code also you are getting the individual digits, right? So in the 5, then plus 2, plus 1, right? You can add up the number of digits, right? The problem 3, another problem can be, you can multiply the digits of an integer number. If you understand that, you can also multiply the numbers. So, and then even problem 4 can be, you can sum of the, if you sum of the even digits, right? So even digits over here is only 2, right? Or sum of the odd digits. So sum of the odd digit is 5 plus 1 is 6. So you can make multiple problem. You can make up multiple problems, right? To practice, if you understand this one. Okay. So let us see. If you go to my Replit account, I should have this. So if I search here, reverse, do while reverse a number, example 1, I have in Java, I have in C#. So let me open with C#. Let me open with Java. I should have also C++. Okay. So here the code, so my number, last digit, reverse. Okay. Actually, my reverse number is initially, it must be initialized to 0. So my last digit, so I have two other things that let us understand the first part, the reverse of a number. So this one is writing console, enter a positive integer number, and then I'm taking the number over here, right? So everybody understand this code, right? Everybody understand these two lines, right? Anyone has any question about these two lines? How to take an input a number from keyboard? You can do like this way in C# or this way. It will work. Is not A, is actually number. Okay. So then do last digit equal to number modulo 10, and then my reverse equal to reverse time 10 plus last digit, and my number equal to number by 10. And so for now, let us forget these two parts. So then we are doing while number is greater than 0, then we are saying console.writeLine, the reverse number is dash on. So if we do this, so if I take input 125, it will give me 521. Okay, and once while we do that, so if we add very two statement, like sum of the digit initially 0, and if we do, remember that this is the one tricky thing at the unit, some of you do mistake. So when we multiply some numbers, we need to consider the multiplicative identity. What is the multiplicative identity? Is 1, right? Multiplicative identity is 1, right? and additive identity is 0. So when you add up the numbers, sum of the numbers or anywhere, so then you need to initialize the sum as 0. And if you multiply some numbers, then you need to initialize the that value multiplicative digit or multiplicative number so by 1 because of the multiplicative identity. This is basic math. Otherwise, your multiplication will not work. Addition will not work. Okay. So here my sum of the digit equal to sum of the digits plus last digit. This only one thing. Multiplicative digit equal to digit times last digit, and this single line will help you to add up the sum of the digits. Now, if you understand how to add up the number of digits, now you can check if you want to add only the odd digit. Then we need another condition over here, right? We need to put another condition. How to check whether our last digit is an odd digit or even digit? Just take another modulo operation. So modulo 2 equal to 0. 2 equal to 1. If it is 1, then the number is odd digit, right? If then we will do this. And if you want to make sum of the even digit, then what you will do over here is 0, right? Instead of 1, you will do 0. So here in this program, there are actually 3, 4, 5 problems solved. So this program, I have here my code in C#, also in Java, same thing. Also in Java, I should have also in C++, or I can do it in C++. Okay, I do have also in C++, same code. Okay. So this program I have implemented in all three languages: C++, Java. So this is C#, and this is also Java. So this is another homework. After the test, before you come to the next week lecture, next Thursday, this Tuesday we are not meeting. Okay, this will be a test. After the test, come here, and before you come to the next lecture, practice this program. Okay, and we have 5 more minutes. Let us go to the start about for loop, and then we will stop. Okay, the for loop is widely used looping control statement. Okay, it is very simple format and it is widely used. Everything can be done with a while loop, can be done by a for loop. Okay, so the format of the for loop, it will have the for, and then you will have a parenthesis here, and within the parenthesis there we will have 3 parts. The first part will be initialization of the equal the index variable, or so you say the variable that controls the loop. This initialization can be done before for loop. If you do before for loop, then initially it will be initialized one time. But even if you put in within for loop, then still it will do only one time. So this initialization is done only one time, for the first time. Then it checks the conditions. The condition is put in the middle, and the increment or decrement is put in the last part. So this part, conditions and increment or decrement, can be also put in the body. Okay, and the initialization part can be put in the up of the for loop. So this is the traditional or regular format, general format of for loop, but it can have different, because we have different way that we can initialize before, but we cannot initialize after or inside. That is the restriction. And the condition you can have here or within the body. So if I do not have all this part here, then still there is a mistake over here. This should be semicolon. So it's in pseudocode format, they say comma, actually it will be in semicolon, program code. This will be semicolon. Okay. And it is very easy and understandable. Okay. So everything can be done with while loop, can be done using for loop. This is maybe an interview question or quiz question. So everything can be done in for loop, can be done in while loop. In while loop, we put initialize before. In for loop, we can also put initialize above. In the for loop, we put increment or decrement within the body, and we can do increment or decrement within the body. And so condition we check usually over here. So, but we can check condition here. So then we need a break statement, but that is a complicated one. We are not going to complicate one now. So here, if you see that the same previous problem to print a number 5 times. So this go. Okay, and this is the last another homework I'm giving you. So please practice this program before you come to our next lecture. So also this is previous one we used with while loop, and same program we are using for loop. Same thing. Okay, so practice this. Not this. Okay, and up to this, for instance, up to 84, slide number 84. Okay, and in our next lecture we will cover the remaining 20 slides. Okay, and we will do some in-class activities in our next lecture. Okay, so but after you take the test, before you come to our next lecture, please practice this program. So far I gave you maybe about 25 programs. Today I gave you 3 programs to practice, right? 3 or 4. So if you gradually practice the programs that I'm giving you, it should be good for this course. But if you do not practice this, you will be behind and then you will get lost. Anyone has any question? Okay, again, the last reminder is that next class we are not meeting. Okay, but next class time you need to take your test, and in order to take your test, you have to complete the respondents setup quizzes first. I see only 20% people have taken it. Okay, you have to complete it as soon as possible. Okay, because if you face any issue, then you can contact the UITS. If your computer has any problem, I cannot help you. Okay, and your test will have 2 parts, and that you need to complete within your quizzes. And again, so if you are allowed for an extended time, so please send me an email. Okay, anyone has any questions so far? Everybody is good? So people who are online, anyone has any question?
All good.
Thank you so much, and you have a good day.